Part 2, 19th of September 2024. We got cut off when I was showing you the photo of my orchid, which my iPhone does that, I don't know why. But anyway, back in the room, we continue on. The time is currently 8:28 a.m. and we're soldiering on, my beautiful ones, my people of Earth, my interdimensional entities across all paradigms and in the cosmos. We're soldiering on regardless. And 4:57 p.m. This is still written on the 23rd. I think we were in the 23rd of September. Yes, we were. Yes, this was all on that same day, 1 year ago. I've been exhausted all day, but I managed to go out to buy groceries. Not enough, but something to keep me going. I rang housing about the blocked bathroom sink and the taps that don't turn off. So I was lying in my hammock, reading and resting, when a plumber arrived about an hour ago. He quickly cleared the sink blockages, which he says were gross, and then he reseated the taps. He said the drain will be 10 times better, but the drainage will still be a bit slow as the pipes are so narrow. Honestly. I nodded, grateful they came out so quickly and without the insane fighting I endured every time I had to call out for repairs during COVID. I'm still waiting for an electrician to arrive tomorrow to put in a new circuit for the kitchen problem. It's been a gorgeous, warm, sunny day. Pity I feel so unwell. Otherwise, I might have enjoyed it even more. 19th of September 2022. Watching the funeral of Queen Elizabeth II. Wow. Beauregard has had a bath, semi-willing, and a most unwilling brush session, lots of growling and snarling. So we are celebrating his new hygiene successes with a coffee at Amanda's, whom he was most excited to see. He also has had 2 schmackos for the brushing out ordeal. Before we left to come out for coffee, he also had a visit from Miss Coco. Fabulous. Yesterday afternoon, we went to drumming and he had a very enthusiastic time with Miss Ivy, who happened to be in season. It was hard to curb his enthusiasm in this instance, but he is quite tired today. I mean, he was no real threat to her because he's de-sexed, but still it was kind of hilarious. Beauregard is a real boy, not a toy like Pinocchio. Oh, my Beauregard. He was a real boy too. Very much a real boy. Here he is, resting at my feet at Amanda's coffee kiosk. And here he is, snuggling on my bed beside me, looking very cute indeed. Very sweet little boy. I do miss him terribly. It's an ache that never quite leaves me. My dear little one, my baby, my angel face, my sweetheart. "19th of September 2021. I was just thinking, he was dead by August 23rd, so this must be from 2022. Yes, I did read that out, 2022. For a moment I thought, how is that even possible? He couldn't possibly be alive. So yeah, it was 2 years ago. Right. 19th of September 2021. I need to wash my hair. It's doing weird little cowlicks again. All right. My dog God beside me, watching over everything that she liked to do in the garden. Just observe all the shenanigans, all the birds, all the doggies and people going past. It was very, very much a kind of a guardian or gatekeeper here, keeping an eye on everything. Such a lovely dog. This out, so this is another photo to follow on. I cleaned the fish pond filter, pruned some shrubs, ate a big bowl of minced veggies and pasta, drank a cup of tea, then collapsed in my hammock. 19th of September 2020. Peter's possum box is a success. Brush-tailed possum is resting inside. I am so happy she likes it. Here's another lovely photo of the bow and I. Well, I don't look so lovely there because of my double chin, but anywho, he looks lovely. Here's Mama kissing the bow. 19th of September 2019, so that's 5 years ago. Well, that's right, after my surgery, they were literally guarding me night and day, my little ones. Here they are, me lying in bed and them protecting me either side of me. Gorgeous, isn't it? Right, just pick up that little stand for my phone. I had a little walk for the first time in weeks yesterday around the block, which was nice. Got to see my neighbour Damon and his little girls. And yes, it was lovely. Haven't seen them in about 6 months or so. He studies me like a lab rat, tweaks at my soul, a pinch and a punch for the first of the month. He watches my emotions seethe beneath my skin, learns the ones I bury deep to sink like cankers in my watery depths, a cancer waiting to bloom until I scream my streaming into the nightmarish dream. He watches from the shadows or the edge of the abyss, sees me falling into the rabbit hole, but waits for me on the other side. He won't enact his own fall. I write him love-sick, sick, sick poetry and beg for his love. I will never beg for a man's love again as long as I live. That's one thing I learnt from Dave, not to degrade myself that way. It's embarrassing. I guess I wasn't really conscious of it though, but when I caught myself doing it, being bam boom babies, you should never have to beg for someone to love you, ever. They love or they do not love. There's no middle ground. I curse and proclaim my accursed farcical fate, but still he watches, afraid of a love so immense that it even terrifies and stultifies my own self. I let him go in an agony of eons, but still he comes, technically stalking, to be honest. But we met in the music scene, so it's not a crime to turn up to a gig and stare at a woman every weekend for years, even though you had no intention of loving her. It was a bit odd. It was very odd how he used to behave. But anyway, but still he comes. My friends scream, "He's here!" thinking they are being protective, but I need no protection from him. For I have called his spirit, and he and I are bound by something dark, but also light and lovely. Golden lights never lie, even if they threw us both into sabotage and distrust and chaos. Hell, even I know that. It took some doing, but I'm glad I finally broke that love bond. It was cruel and sadistic and empty and very painful for me, and I'm glad it's over. Very, very glad. And it's taken me about 4 years to heal from that completely. And I'm ready to open up to love again, and I'm just hoping that the next time I invite a man into my heart, mind, body, spirit, emotions, that he's genuinely wanting me, wanting a life with me, and genuine next time. But will it ever happen? I don't know. I'm not exactly being overly inviting to the men out in the scene. In fact, I'm being as ever a prickly little pear and keeping them at arm's length, keeping myself safe, keeping my heart space safe as much as possible, and holding my own line, fighting for my own heart and soul to keep it precious, and make sure that it's honoured and loved back. Otherwise it'll just be another recipe for disaster, and I don't have time or energy to invest in any more toxic love affairs. I really don't. It takes me years to recover from them, and I'm 60 next year. So if I make another mistake or choose unwisely or fall in love too deeply, too profoundly with someone that's not interested in me, I'll lose another 10 years, and by then I'll be 70 and even more frail and vulnerable than ever before. And although if my health improves, I might be the healthiest I'll have ever been at 70. One can never tell. But anyway, you know what I'm saying. I don't want to waste precious emotional energy on people who are not genuine and don't have my back and don't really love me, because it's this sick love poetry that manifests in this sickness, which I'm trying to avoid if at all possible. And anyway, here I write, because I was at that time under some delusion that man did love me in some twisted way. Why did I think that? Because he played this sadistic game of stalking me every weekend and staring at me, bringing his friends and even other lovers to stare at me. It was odd, and controlling and dominating and delegitimizing and degrading and embarrassing and awkward and weird. So there is that. But anyway, I never had a man love me before, not like that, body, mind and soul. We did have a very powerful soul connection, which was astonishing, to the point that I would pick up on his energy even before I ran into him at the crossroads last December. Well, I didn't run into him. I was minding my own business, sitting at the lights. I felt his energy behind me. So we still have, to this day, even though I have not spoken to him for years and will not speak to him ever again, because why waste time on people who are cruel, right? But I still pick up his energy. That was a very astonishing telepathy I had with that man, actually. Probably the most intensely connected telepathy I've had with anyone. And I do have telepathic connections with other people in my life. My friend Lynn, my daughter, Jared, my psychiatrist, So that connection with that man I refer to now as Wiglet was astonishing, absolutely astonishing. And I don't understand why we had that. We weren't even such close, intimate partners, or such close friends, or, hadn't spent years and years of time together as I have in therapy, seeing my psych every 2 weeks. So when you build up that kind of telepathy, it happens usually over time. So yeah, it's astonishing that I had that with with that one. So anyway, I carry on. Bound by heart and some ancient ancestral kinship, which is odd because he was English. I do have English ancestry. I don't understand what the connection between us was based on. Just some maybe past life connection, or some ugly fucking karmic shit that I had to work on and work out of me and resolve, It's spiritual, I wrote. It is indeed. But evil would not let me have him. It is probably for the best. Envy and spite tore us apart and kept us apart, but ultimately the heart knows its beloved indeed. In every world and paradigm, from the ocean's depths to the galactic summer sky, the tsum of creation, pushing and pulling, breaking down and rebuilding, desecration and slaughtering of my kintsugi'd heart. But look how it shines, a jewel in the firmament, a crown created for a broken little girl who made her love sublime, utterly ridiculous. What kind of fool am I? Well, darlings, the very best, manufactured by trauma. Fool. I will kiss you in 4 places and call your name to the blue summer sky. That line is from a song. Spirit with her cryptic, sardonic, playful messages again. Sighs. Psychedelic dreamer is grateful for the beautiful weekend I just had, for the love and acceptance, for the dance amongst the Sephirot, for the tender approach of friends, old and new, for the laughter, for my indomitable spirit, for the passion. Time to get on with my day. Shalom, y'all. So yes, that was still in 2019. I just had a funny thought. A palm reader back when I was 30 years old told me that I would be in a love partnership when I am 60, and that the man will think that I walk on water. He said that men would come and go, but I would not find authentic love until that time. So far, so good. That's been proven to be accurate in the last almost 30 years, 59 and a half years. Men have certainly come and gone, and not one of them was authentic or true or even particularly loving. Put on a good show of it at the beginning to lure me in, and once they got me, it was just evil, really, what was done to me many, many times. But it's why I shut down my sexuality for the last 10 years. I just don't want to be used and abused by any man ever again, ever. Frankly, I'd rather die. And you know from my constant musings and stories that death it's a given. She'll get me in the end. But I don't want to die because of a man's vapid cruelties, hands on my throat or raping my soul. Been there, done that too many times too. The last one was, he didn't rape me, but he was a soul rapist of the worst possible kind. Took me years to rebuild from that. Even my friends screaming, he's here, all turned on and excited by the drama and chaos. Once I realised that was going on, I knew those friends were toxic too. They were feeding off my seeping grief and trauma and hope, my hope, feeding off it. I hope it was a delicious repast for you bitches, because it wasn't delicious for me. But anyway, it is what it is. Those particular women are no longer in my life, and that's one of the reasons. I actually hoped that the timelines were a bit out. He had also told me, the palm reader that is, I would have major gynecological surgery when I was 50, but that happened earlier when I was 42 and a half. So 7.5 years out in the timelines, am I right? Anyway. But however, he got it right. I did have major gynecological surgery, which I almost died of too, quite frankly. So, ho-hum, not really bothered. Life and love finds its own way and sway. And here comes the kicker. I just glanced at my cover photo and was greatly bemused at the look of me walking on water. The shallows on the incoming tide at Byron Bay several months ago. Dare the psychedelic dreamer delirium continue? Hilarious. I used to think that I would be too old and possibly too bitter to ever want a partner again by the time I am 60. But now it's slowly creeping up on me and I'm getting younger like Benjamin Button. 5 years ago I wrote this, and by the gods it's true. I'd long given up on love even, and here I am, blossoming again. It's sweet, it's a sweetness, and I'm grateful for that sweetness. For the one who inspired that sweetness, I'm grateful for that too, my darlings. It's been good for me, even though it can't be requited, but it's good for me. It's a healing in a sense. I want to cry, but it's good for me, and I'm grateful to you all, my ones who've inspired me to blossom out again with your sweetness and kindness towards me. Soon I will be cradled in big, strong, loving arms again. Move over, all you nasty, petty, jealous motherfuckers. Talking about my friends back in the scene in 2019 who really were envious and spiteful and sabotage any potential of love for me. I caught them doing it in the end, right up in my face, not long before I quit the casino. They were showing me how vicious they were when I actually sat and was having a lovely evening with a nice young man, just being friends. I wasn't even allowed to make new friends with people. That's how possessive and evil and spiteful and controlling they were. It's actually sick. No intention of going home with that young man. He was 40, old enough to be my son. But oh, they were savage. But anyway, I left that toxic space and I'm in another space where I'm welcomed and even respected and cared for. And I'm grateful for that too, that has manifested in my life in such a beautiful and profound and even astonishing way. But here I write back in 2019. It's my turn for romance and passion, and maybe in time when I trust again, in brackets, Jesus, a commitment of heart and soul, body and mind that is actually real, enduring and blessed. 5 years ago I wrote this. So even though I was claiming it as my turn, it still hasn't quite manifested yet. But sometimes it's important to say, put it out to the multiverse. This is what I'm wanting for my life, and this is what I'm wanting to happen for me, and these are the people I want to be in my life, and this is my tribe that I want to be in my life, and and watch it just unfurl organically in its own unique timing, because some things you can't preempt or force. It just happens when the gods decree, not a second before and not a second later. And as I said to you in my video yesterday, sometimes my timing's quite out by sometimes decades, hence having to wait to this late stage of life to have all this gorgeousness manifest for me, which I'm still kind of in awe of, and takes my breath away actually, how wonderful it's been. And I've had difficulties trusting in it too, because I'm used to being led up the garden path and then kicked down into a ditch somewhere and left for dead, almost literally. It's happened too many times. So my trauma issues will get activated, and then I start fearing, and fear is a great block to success and love and happiness. Fear and mistrust. So I need to work on that, to not allow fear to block me or stymie me or interfere in my potentialities. It's destructive, it's negative, and often it's an illusion built up on past experiences that have got nothing to do with what's actually going on in my life now. It's something I will, as the Spirit told me this morning, fight. It's something I will have to fight against, to claim my beautiful life with harm to none and competition with none, so it is done. But also to fight for that, pushing against fears and doubts and insecurities and ancient fucking traumas, some of them not even mine, but intergenerational. And, the tapes in my head that tells me that I'm not worthy of a loving partner, when that's simply not true. I'm as worthy as any other mortal being on this planet. And but to remain circumspect and not buy into the bullshit and games of others who are dealing with their own fears and traumas and trepidations and insecurities and desires and things that probably they haven't experienced before, because they haven't fallen in love with the Tanya before. And falling in love with the Tanya is kind of a soul activation because I'm intense. I'm intense. I've always been intense. It's my soul journey. So I just have to let go, let love, let people be who they're going to be, and if they choose to be with me, welcome them wholeheartedly, and if they choose to deflect or reject, accept with grace and move on, and but simultaneously maintain my dance babies, because the dance is a whole other issue altogether. The dance is a healing that I create for myself and for those who choose to be around my energy and kind of experience almost organically. Just it's an energy that I'm putting out into my dance, consciously or unconsciously at times, to be fair. And the dance needs to be respected and honoured and maintained, as I call it, maintain the wild. Here I continue writing. Maybe I will meet a pagan and have a series of hand fastings, 1 year and a day, which is a pagan marriage type commitment. They renew it 1 year and a day. I like that because human beings are fickle and change their mind and fall out of love, and I don't think marriage should be a fucking long-term contract, a soul contract or a trap. It should be something you enter into with all your heart, mind, body, soul and spirit joyously, and every year you say, do you still feel the same way about me? Well, yes, I do. Do you still feel the same way about me? Oh, yes, absolutely, my darling. And have another hand fasting and carry on for another year, am I right? And then as things change or love dies, which happens to the best of us, to just gently unhand fast and wave goodbye and let people go on with their journey in peace and sweetness and contentment, with no harm and no acrimony and no ugliness and no putrescence, and certainly no life-threatening events like I was put through when I left my marriage. Just let go with grace those who no longer wish to be in your energy. That's the civilized way to do things. Pagans have a lot to teach us, don't they? They really did. They had quite an interesting way of looking at the world, and still do, those who are still practicing pagans. Don't make a trap or a hellscape out of love. It's toxic, it's diminishing, it's destructive, it's cruel, it's sadistic, it's evil. Love or not love according to thine own soul, and let people be who they are and let them go. Yes, so here I write. Maybe I'll meet a pagan and have a series of hand fastings, 1 year and a day, as I am heavy going, and I don't like my love to be a hellish prison. I wouldn't want someone to feel trapped by me, or that they have to be with me out of some weird fucked up sense of duty, or have to fake love for me like my husband did for years. I don't know what that was about, what was going through his mind actually. It really was quite sick, but I don't want that. I want to be loved for real, authentically and beautifully and graciously. And there's a man somewhere out there that will love me that way one day, that will choose me and will be grateful, not grateful in an obsequious slathering, submissive way, but, you know, just grateful and happy and proud to be my man, because he sees me and who I am as a spirit, and as the fortune teller said, thinks I walk on water, although I don't quite like that verbiage because it's too Christian, to be honest, but thinks I'm a woman of worth and valour and magic and delight, and honours me. Maybe that's the word I should say instead of grateful. Honours me, treats me with honour. Or maybe I'll meet someone who thinks every moment with me is pure delight and bliss, so he never finds me too heavy. And if I do, he carries me or tosses me into the air like that lovely young Irishman last year, or those delightfully crazy New Zealand Navy men. As long as they catch me and put me back on my hobbit's feet on solid ground, gentle with Mama T's old lady bones. Or maybe this is just a weird sort of nervous breakdown, and an authentic lover is never going to manifest for me. Shit. Que sera, sera. And then I put winky face. But I have a very powerful feeling that my future lover is coming to me, that he's imminent. Maybe it might be another year away, or 2 years away, or even 5 years away. But he's manifesting and he's coming, because I can see the shift all around me, how everyone has included me and, you know, accepted me and treated me with such sweetness and kindness, as though I'm part of their tribe, and they recognise me and they see me and they love me anyway, which is astonishing. So for that to happen means that the right man is coming to me and will choose me. Don't know who he is yet, but it's imminent. Might be sooner than I expect too. I'm giving it a year to 2 years, because it'll take me a year to adapt to CPAP. Oh, by the way, today marks 11 weeks of CPAP. 11 weeks, that's 1 week shy of 3 months. And they told me it can take 6 months, 6 to 12 months for it to, for my body, mind and spirit to respond to it. And, you know, I have noticed in the last few weeks, I still suffer quite a bit of fatigue with all my emotional stuff that's been going on, and probably always will, quite frankly, but I'm feeling slightly better, and I don't dare get my hopes up too much, because, you know, hope for me can be an illusory hag too, but I'm almost 3 months in, so I'm thinking in another 3 months, which puts me at a week from now is 3 months, so the 26th, so is that right? Yeah, 26th of September will be 3 months, so roughly the 26th of January will be 6 months. I think I'll be a lot better. Be'ezrat Hashem, by the will of God, because if I can turn my life around and my health around, which this is driven, by the way, by my handsome and determined and courageous, because I fought him like a demon actually, psychiatrist, and my beautiful, talented, determined urologist. That was their idea that I have the CPAP treatment, and, you know, if you've been following my journey, you know I was not happy about submitting to it at all. I even had a breakdown over it. So if it works and I get better and better. I have a chance at a really fucking awesome life, which is a great gift that my doctors plural, are giving me, because they see my potential. They've always known what my potential was and is and always shall be. And I don't know what I'll be doing when I'm healthy. Maybe writing books, although I have a major block with that too. And maybe go back to university and do a degree. When I was younger, I used to dream of becoming a rabbi. Isn't that weird? Me, the heathen, who dances wildly every Shabbat now and has done for many, many years, used to want to be a rabbi. But if I get a Bachelor of Arts degree, which takes 3 to 4 years, I can then go and do further study and do rabbinic training. That would be a bit of a twist. I'm not sure I want to do that now though, because too much damage was done to me in my Brisbane Jewish community over too many decades, and I don't know if I want to be in service to them in that way. But however, I could do a degree of some other kind, and at 60, well, by then I'd be 64, 65, quite an old lady. Something to think about. Maybe even just do a degree just for my own satisfaction that I've achieved that much, and not worry about a career from it. But a degree would give me more career opportunities, but no one's going to hire a 65-year-old woman, trust me on that, especially with our economic climate. So maybe I'll rethink that again. But anyway, me being healthy and happy and comfortable in my own skin and feeling like I'm achieving could create whole new opportunities I haven't even dreamed of before. So there is that. Me being happy and healthy and safe and comfortable in my own skin might invite the one to come into my life and be my partner too. That's a potentiate that I've always dreamed of. So we'll see what the future holds. But I think the next 3 months will be interesting, because we have now October, November, December, January, so we have the rest of spring and then the scathing fucking heat of summer to get through, which I always struggle with. I really do. But I've made up my mind I'm going to go swimming this year. I haven't swum much for the last 5 years. And I'm going to go swimming, and I'm going to, make myself do that level of exercise at least. And maybe go to the beaches more and just live my best life, because I haven't been living really fully. I've been in some weird kind of holding pattern for years now. Apart from my wild dance on the weekend, the weekdays have been very kind of secluded and isolated indeed. So I'm going to reclaim my life in the most astonishing and powerful and magical ways, hopefully with someone equally astonishing and powerful and magical who vibes with me and loves me dearly. That's my manifestation, babies. I've put it out there in YouTube world, out in public for the whole world to see, and for the angels and benevolent spirits to support me in my manifestation. So mote it be. Amen v'salah. And as always, with harm to none and competition from none. I don't want to be the source of heartache to any other woman, or be in a situation where it's not tenable and therefore a source of heartache to me as well. That cannot happen. I must not allow that to happen. I must be brave and fight for my truest, deepest love of man. But without it being a source of pain to anyone, because that's not cricket when that happens. 1:01 p.m. Giggles. My angels are working hard on me. Tricksters, but very cute. Wonder what I was talking about there. 1:11 p.m. Ad nauseum, meaning the same thing that I said only 10 minutes before. Well, I was marking the synchronicities of seeing the 111 sequences, having a bit of a laugh at that actually. Listening to my beautiful muse's CD, Tony Child's It's a Beautiful Noise. She's a very talented songwriter, Tony Childs. Waiting for his human Uncle Jared. He really was waiting for him. I'd say, Uncle Jared's coming. So he'd sit in the garden, watch for his car. No one loves you as much as a dog, or a bird, or a cat. A dog's loyalty is infamous and without question. Or not infamous, famous, and without question. They love you so devotedly. My heart just aches. Ah, well. Charlie in the swing, he always previously rejected. Weird little bird. She loves that swing now. Let's get her a new one actually. That one's gone a little bit rotted out and tacky looking. Well, we better hurry up because it's 9:15 and Rati comes at 10. I just vacuumed the house but now have referred pain from my liver around my back. I had a sore arm and neck last night too. I probably should get my assets back to the doctor, but I have zero trust in them now. I will heal myself eventually or die because fuck it, enough already. It's a beautiful day. I am content apart from my weird processing this morning and strange manifested muscular pains. I'm waiting on Jared's visit this arvo, smiley face. I always look forward to our weekly visits. Otherwise it's just the dog, cats, bird, fish and me and my mad boltering social intercourse on the weekend. I am not lonely, not very often. Loneliness is a terrifying emotion. I abhor it, but I've been known to feel incredibly lonely and misaligned, even while dancing joyously in a crowd. There is nothing more beautiful, soulful, and life-enhancing than being with people who value your energy, spirit, intentions, and joy. So thank you, Richard Marler, for the heartfelt welcome to the drumming circle last Sunday. You are a delightful human, smiley face. He is indeed a delightful human, but also an outrageous flirt. But apart from that, he is a delightful human. Thank you, Catherine Holdsworth, for your epic sweetness on Monday. I still have the lucky $2 you blessed me with on Saturday night, with your deep love and wish for me to be loved and have abundance in this life. It was so sweet of her. Really, I want to cry when I think about it. I bought a lotto ticket for tonight, even though I'm not much of a gambler, as I received so much love and positive encouragement from all my beautiful friends last week that in all honesty, I feel like a much valued and precious warrior, goddess, queen. And with love like that, I cannot lose. Smiley face. It's true though. And I write here, I love you all, kiss. It's not about money. It's about the energy and the love and the support and the strength that they poured into me, knowing that I was still flailing in those days with recovering from that surgery. I was really, really flailing and kind of, as I call it, splonging in the shadowlands, like between life and death, trying to hold it together every day in every way. It's not good when I get like that, and it can last quite some time, sometimes months or years. So I was very grateful. And Richard Marler, although I said he's a terrible flirt, which he is, and he would know that if he watches my videos, he's a shaman, an urban shaman too, and did a lot of healing, did a healing session with me in a group setting, and a powerful spirit, and yes, the drumming circle, which began with he ran it with Belinda. I loved it when he was participating in it, actually. I mean, I love Belinda, and I've continued to support her drumming circle all this time, but it was a bit more special when he participated, because he would do a smudging ceremony for everyone in the circle, and I loved that. I really, as a Jew and a witch and a shaman, I really loved that. And he would step up behind me and smudge me, and little Beauregard, and he'd say, "It's so good to see you, Tanya." And I always felt welcome and included and soul nourished, and also cleansed and purified by the smudging. And then he would bring other little rituals into the actual drumming circle. And then with Belinda's magnificent handpan playing, which she still does, it just created this very spiritual and gorgeous vibe. And yes, I miss that component of it. But you know, as I said, Belinda carried on with the drumming circle unaided by Richard, because he moved down to Mullumbimby and moved on with his life, whatever his activities he's involved in down there, probably still doing shamanism. And yeah, but it was kind of a very soul nourishing time for me post that surgery, that I stumbled across that drumming circle, because I decided after that near-death experience post-surgery that I would have to go out and push myself to do new things and go out into the world and learn new skills, which I did do all through COVID. Taught myself silversmithing and taught myself how to sew on the sewing machine. Not very well still, but you know, I just tried new skills. Tomorrow morning I'm going to see Belinda. She's going to teach me how to set up my spinning wheel and spin fleece. So that's another kind of journey that I'm about to go on, and I'm delighting in learning new skills and new art forms, and opening up, blossoming out, and all manifestations, not just hoping for a loving partner, but loving myself enough to open up and learn new crafts and arts and new ways of expressing myself and new activities. And yeah, it's been a wonderful 5 years in that regard. My friend Michael Brecher, who lives in America, posted a meme, "What doesn't kill you just wasn't strong enough." And I wrote, "God only knows they kept trying, dickheads." Yes, eventually they had to even give that up, because they realised they weren't up to the task. Or alternatively, my angels were bigger than their demons. So you kind of have to laugh about that, but it's not so funny when you think about it. It's a bit humbling. Anyway, 11:11 p.m. Lila Tov, smiley face. 19th of September 2018. On this day, Yom Kippur, a day of trembling for the Lord and repentance, I am once again without a shul, without a congregation. And frankly, after the treachery of past decades, which still sits like a claw in my throat, I would not want to belong to one anymore. So I observed the day, thinking about the recent awfulness of former friends and my role in my wider community, the hedonistic, wild, dancing one. How I am both fated and at times hated for no good reason, but that I show up in all my glory, shimmering in my finery and fury and my desire for freedom, brief moments of celebration and vitality. Well, I sustain that moment of celebration and vitality for the entire gig, babies. 3 or 4 hours, depending how long the gig goes for, or if I got there earlier in the night. So they might be brief moments, but they're amazing. And I pay for it for days after, but it's still worth it. It's still worth it. I was trying to remember how the Chagim became such a source of trepidation and depression for me. Chagim means holy days. Instead of the edifying joy of continuity, forgiveness, and community. I did get a sense of that with Kadima, but once again, that lovely congregation was sabotaged and stymied by several male egos vying for power in a mad sort of dynamic of what I observed as nothing short of, pardon me, patriarchal penis posturing. I often regret remaining silent in awe of my erudite and powerful male leaders. I was too much in awe of them. I should have given them the tongue lashing they all deserved, and perhaps it might have made them see how destructive their competitive natures were becoming. But I waited and watched and let it all fall away. A shame. Events happened beyond anyone's control, and all we can do is bide our time for our own star to rise. I see the tribal affiliations again, supporting only the inner elite circle with tzedakah, that means charity. And when I asked for assistance for a friend in crisis, stony silence. Yom Kippur has no real meaning anymore. Unrepentant hypocrites who trade on child abuse and sorrow, staining our consciousness for generations. They can only gift me or love me as a victim or a survivor, as a pitiable Schnorrer Schmendrick figure. Funny. A warrior goddess sees all and knows her worth. I am sorry, but I will no longer be grovelling in the dust for your entertainment. Sit with me, hold my hand, or watch me fly. Which those of you in the music scene get to watch me fly every Friday and or Saturday night when I do my wild shamanic dance. That's me flying in my own body, mind and spirit, to the point that sometimes with extreme exhaustion I actually leave my body temporarily and have to whistle myself back down. But watch me fly, participate in that awesomeness and greatness bestowed upon me by the music, the muse, and the gods themselves, or stay the fuck away from me. It's that black and white, people of Earth. My cousin wrote, Megan Phillips wrote, "Sins of the father, ? Laughing out loud, cousin. That trait of being both loved and or hated at the same time, I have observed in both my brother's and Dad's life. It was odd to observe, and I never figured out why it was. Maybe a Phillips trait, as I too am both loved and or hated. Why? Must be some kind of ancestral curse, Megan. There is no answer sometimes as to why. It just is, and you just have to ride through it, dance through it, love through it, live through it, at times fight through it. But in my life, it's a strange dichotomy, and it really hasn't changed. It's the faces change, but there's always someone that both loves and hates you with equal vituperation and malice, and the more they hate you, the more they love you in a weird, twisted, fucked up way. So I avoid people like that because they're toxic and they're dangerous. But it is what it is, Megan. Don't beat yourself up about it. Just got to live with it and accept it and move on. And it's hard to move on sometimes, but you just have to. That's our work, baby girl. The moving on and the loving so powerfully your own self that you no longer draw in false, feckless people in your life. That too is a great work and kind of an art form too for any human, any mortal. We all have people who don't have our backs or crawl. Every human's experienced that to varying degrees. Just we Phillipses of our line seem to have had it like a distillation of toxicity that was enormous. But then you have to remember we had a lot of intergenerational trauma that we've inherited in our race memory and our DNA. And a lot of it wasn't ours. We don't have to own it. Shuck it off. So that belongs to that generation. Heal yourself to the 10th generation before you and leave the crap where it resided with the ones that actually manifested that crap, and own your own shit and live your best life. And yes, it's advice I gave to young Al at the Brooklyn Standard recently, and as soon as it came out of my mouth I thought, is this advice for her or for me? It's very good advice. Own your own beingness and your own stuff and work it through and live your best life and be free and happy and full of joy and delight and magic and awe and sweetness and deep love and passion with the ones who love you back. And those that wish you only harm will eventually just slide on by. They can't stay in your energy for very long anyway. It's a cosmic law, Evil comes, performs its function, and ends up having to move on, slough itself off, sometimes continuing on with its same patterns, inflicting its shit on other humans. But by and large, after every storm, there's new growth and potential. After every darkest of night, there's a sunrise and a new day. So you just have to sometimes ride it out, sit it out, wait it out, and let the gods show you who has your back, your front and your sides, and whose love is so immense and powerful and joyful and healing and protective if necessary, that all evil just becomes more and more diminished, crumbling itself in its own fetid hatred and shit, and just dissipates like dust in the face of a giant current of air blowing it all out. That kind of thing. Don't let it attach to you. Don't become so evil to fight evil. Don't let it stain you. Just keep rising and shining and being the best version of you, and recognizing when things are getting toxic, even in your own body, mind and spirit. And taking back control over that. My psychiatrist says I've been a bit toxic. I'm taking that on board. I haven't been well with this CPAP. I've really struggled, and I think he's right. It's had me thinking quite negatively about things, and had me fearful, and there's a part of my spirit that didn't like being forced to heal itself and choose life, because it's not something I'm accustomed to. I'm accustomed to fighting death alongside death, like two fucking champions on a field, parrying and thrusting, two jousting knights, light and dark, death and life. I'm always constantly on the end of the jousting stick being needled by something. Well, anyway, I'm curious to see what my life will be like in 3 months or 9 months' time, however long it takes for this medical intervention to heal me. And I'm curious to see who will be with me, holding their hand with me when life gets exponentially better, who will stand beside me with great pride and say, I knew you'd do it, Tanya. I'm so proud and happy to be your friend or your lover or your partner, whoever that person might manifest to be. And excuse me, needed to stretch. Yeah, who will be with me for the next however many years the gods allot to me to stay here on planet Earth. I'm curious. Curious minds want to know, am I right? To all my gorgeous ones. Anyway, I continue writing. I'm just going to scroll back what year. I've forgotten what year we were in because I segued and I've got lost in space, and I'm getting tired again, quite frankly. I should crawl back into bed, but I won't. So, all right, this was 6 years ago in 2018. Well, after all my kvetching and kratzing about not having a shawl and becoming a full-fledged heathen, Hashem in their infinite wisdom performed a miracle, as that energy often does in my life. I've seen many miracles, some of them quite disturbing. So my friend Sally picked me up for the Yiz course service. I think I talked about that in a video yesterday. But here's the actual, how I recorded it and wrote it down. So I attended a shul that I had a lot of mixed feelings about. Complex PTSD. There is a history, darlings. But it gets better. I rise above the evil glare from one of the women in the sanctuary and sit and recite the prayers, etc. We all take turns to read out a list of our dearly departed. So here's the astonishing thing. I'm not even safe to attend temple on Day of Atonement because I get evil glares from envious, spiteful, malicious curs on the holiest day of the year, yet they proclaim to be holy religious people, am I right? This is why I can't tolerate the bullshit anymore. It's too hypocritical and too evil. I'm better out doing my hedonistic wild dance surrounded by pagans and witches, and no doubt some are Satanists and Luciferians and Christians and former Muslims I met one night on a Friday night. That was delightful. I'm better off in mixed company than in my own community with the hypocrisy and the viciousness that was extended to me on the holiest day of the year, by the way. I won't name that woman, but it was disgraceful how she behaved. Absolutely disgraceful. My stomach just does a little flip just thinking about it to this day. As the list is going around the congregation, I think to myself, dear God, I hope I don't have to rattle off the names of any of my enemies. I actually had that prayer and thought go through my mind. With a wry internal berserk smile, my beloved former parents-in-law had already been called out early in the alphabet. When the list comes to me to rattle off 10 or so names, I recite them, then balk at the last one. My mother, who technically should not be on the list as she was not Jewish. Also my own mother, who was so damned evil to me most of my life. But I rose above it, handed the list to Sally, who recited the name for me. I couldn't bear to say it. It was too chilling. It was too astonishing and chilling. I decompensate into confusion and horror. Earlier I said about going back to that shul that had caused me years of distress, that I have to face the hag sometime. Little did I know I would be about to call my own former mother's name. So a little later, in fits of giggles, I said, "Die alte Hexe can find me anywhere, darlings." It was hilarious and complicated. Shana Tova, that means Happy New Year, from a Jew who still lives with her very own daemons. Let there be peace in the upper and lower worlds. Genug already. Never underestimate the power of the spirits and the Holy One to make us turn and turn again on the return. Gewalt, laughing out loud. Now you all comprehend why I need a shaman to chase that demon far away from me, laughing my ass off. So when I tell my darling friend Jared, he says, "She can't get to you. She is the dibuk on the roof of the old shul now." Yuppers. I rebuke that damned spirit. Yes, I do. Can you imagine my mother somehow finding a way to haunt me on Yom Kippur at the Yizkor service? It's fucking mind-blowing and demonic. It's astonishing is what it, to this day I'm still by it. And that was 6 years ago, babies. Not well today. Asthma was bad last night. Oh, right, he's here early. Today I just feel depleted. Beautiful morning outside. I sat outside with Charlie for 2 hours. It was lovely. Now back in bed. 19th of September 2017. I've slept so much since early Sunday morning. Needed the rest. I had a lovely evening with Jared last night. We watched Electric Dreams, which was interesting. When he left, I had to sleep on the spare bed as I had hung my pillows and doona outside to air and forgot them, so they were wet with a heavy dew. The spare bed is very comfortable, but I was awake from 4:30 to 5:30 a.m, so I Facebooked, then went back to sleep, exhausted. Too much dancing nearly kills me, but I'm having a nice life after all. No idea why people are scared of the creators coming to Earth to guide and protect us. I'm referring to people seeing UFOs and thinking that they're demons and that it's the end of the world and all that Christian fundamentalist lunacy. Makes no sense. I don't believe for one moment that UFOs are demons either. There is a theory that they might be related to the fairy folk, but I don't think fairies are demons either. I'll tell you who are demons. Fucking human beings with their greed and their lust and their selfishness and their warmongering, their drug abuse and their incest and their pedophilia. Those are demons. Those are real demons. That's why the aliens most of the time fly past. Don't go to that hellscape. Don't go to that prison planet. Can you blame them? By the gods. But on the other hand, this can be a wonderful, magical, beautiful place as well. Attitude is everything. Charlie is very smoochy today. Charlie's a bit out of focus too, my photograph there, but never mind. Nice sunset this evening. Kind of an orangey glow to it. 19th of September 2016. Trigger warning. Othering, religious conversion, seeking home, family, belonging, the stranger in the midst of everything, dying. It's going to be heavy, this one. A young man, Herschel Aronchik, who would one day migrate to New Zealand, change his name to Harry Aarons, marry Hinda Drukier, have 3 children, actually 4 because one was stillborn, and as an old man, meet a girl on a horse, actually a young 15-year-old girl who fell off her horse. He ran across the road to check on her, fearing she was hurt. She wasn't. She was lying very still, checking all her bones before getting up, albeit feeling a bit dazed. 2 years later, that young girl was dating his son. A year after that, that silly fool of a girl had proposed to his son twice and been rejected. Twice? Oh, you'd think I would have got the hint that that man wasn't right for me. But I had a very stubborn nature as a child, by the gods. She wasn't Jewish and had a German mother. The sins of the fathers from a war that was ended 20 years before her birth. That even her German narcopath asshole mother had no say in when it began, when she was 12 years old. As if anyone had had the balls to prevent that war anyway. a loud, obnoxious twerp with little man syndrome and delusions of taking over the entire world, nearly did us all in. How he was fussed over and fated. So here she was at 18 years old, fighting an old man to prove A, she was no Nazi, and B, on the contrary, she wanted to be a Jew. He refused to meet her or accept her for a year, but when they finally had their showdown, the young girl and the old man, there was a spark of recognition, of respect. Worlds collided, islands fell into the sea. There was smoke, there was ashes, there was a great burning lump of destiny between them. She felt he actually loved and most definitely respected her more than her fiancé. For her part, that stubborn, fiery teenager began to doubt what she had fought so damn hard for, to belong, to be safe, loved. Ha ha ha. Cataclysmic renderings of a traumatised mind. I'll just let Rati in, I'll be back soon. That's odd. She's just coming through the gate now, but I heard rattling at the back door, thinking she was at the back door. So, another of my friends or associates that send their energy signature just a few moments ahead of their time. Very astonishing, that. Anyway, I went out and pulled the mop bucket and the mop out for her, so I'll just greet her when she gets here, I guess. Yeah, just a bit surprised by that. I definitely heard some rattling at the back door. Maybe I imagined it. Maybe it was a bird playing on her in her cage. But anyway, I'll be back. Good morning. I thought you were already here. I heard rattling at the back door and the door was locked. Oh. So I was like, oh, Rati's here, can't get in. So I'm running around going, are you here, Rati? Are you here? And I pulled the mop and bucket out. And then I realised you weren't here yet. You were still coming through the front gate. It's strange, isn't it? Yeah, you said your energy signature ahead of you. I a few seconds ahead still. Anyway, I'm just making a video, so I'll finish that off. And then I'll get dressed. So, let me open up.
Hi, Tony. Hi, Tony. Oh, okay.
She's always happy to see you, Rati. She's a good birdie, isn't she? No one loves as much as birds do. Right. So I'd finished the last sentence. Cataclysmic renderings of a traumatised mind. Destiny won out. She vowed to stay Jewish. I have to roll my eyes at that one, don't I, darlings? But never mind. She promised grandchildren. He never lived to see them. 6 weeks later, he was dead. 2 weeks before he died, he begged her to put on her second-hand wedding dress to show it to him. She obeyed. Well, my mother-in-law and my mother remodelled it. So it was a very lovely wedding dress, even though originally it was second-hand. It was a vintage one from the 1950s that we revamped so it looked more like 80s fashions. He looked with a pleased eye, then commented, "Under the veil of morphine. But it is not green. Green is my favourite colour." Do you want to see the dress? I've got a photo of me as a bride still. I haven't burnt that photo because I'm not sure why. I'll get the photo and show it to you. I store it at the back of my wardrobe because for some reason I can't bear to burn it. But there she is, 19 years old, 1 month and 8 days. Oh, but anyway, there's another beautiful wedding photo of me sitting on a chaise lounge and the dress spread out. It's a much nicer one actually. But anyway, I think I can burn that quite happily now that I've showed it to you. I'm just like got the ick factor just looking at it. Isn't that awful how love can turn rancid? But anyway. Kind of feel I've got chills to this day thinking about how everything went so toxic, and you know what, it didn't need to be like that ever. There was no need for any of that evil to permeate. But as my sister once said to me, that marriage was doomed from the very beginning, and she kind of was right about that in a way. Anyway, my father-in-law under the veil of morphine, but it is not green. Green is my favourite colour. She promised there would be plenty of greenery amidst the orchids in the bouquet, and so there was. It was a beautiful bouquet actually. My husband paid for the flowers. So my mother was just so... I can't even think about that whole wedding, the evil that was perpetrated upon me by my own mother. Even for the wedding, it was just appalling what I was put through actually. Anyway, my husband paid for the flowers and they were exquisite. They were absolutely exquisite. Because when we first started dating, very, very beginning, he always bought me, each time he came to pick me up, to take me out somewhere, most gorgeous spray of orchids. And orchids last a long time in the vase, about 6 weeks. So the first 6 weeks of dating him, there was an orchid nearly every week. So the orchids kind of almost outlived the relationship, quite frankly. I mean, you have to laugh. It's not funny though. It's tragic. But you know, I'll give my ex-husband credit. He did spoil me lavishly in the very beginning. Of course he did, trying to lure in a young adolescent into his sexual enmeshment to use and abuse me. Of course he did. At least he made up for it with orchids, am I right? Never mind. It is what it is. The wedding a traumatic event due to his passing 2 nights before, then her own mother's viciousness, took place with a solemnity and a fear. She was barely there. It had lost its magic. It was a procession to hell. I should have done what many brides have done before and just run and kept running. But for some odd reason, I thought my love was real and that I could somehow make a go of it. All for the promise of life, safety, her children, his grandchildren. She kept her part of the bargain. I guess I'd fought so hard to have my husband, and even fought his own father, that I kind of, noblesse oblige, had to, carry on. I fought for it and I'd won. What did I win? Years of trauma. But I'd fought for it, so I had to stand by that, by the gods. If he had lived, he would have kept his bargain, my father-in-law. Kept loving her and admiring her, his little nemesis, his daughter-in-law. As soon as the kiddush ended, the guests left the shul like a bomb had gone off. They all could see that the whole thing was just a facade and a horror. They just left like rats leaving a sinking ship. That also was kind of horrific, actually. It's when I realised I'm trapped now. I've made my bed and I'll have to lie in it. It was something out of a horror movie when I look back on it now, but I was a kid. What did I know about life? I thought I was doing the respectable thing, being a wife and wanting to be a mother. She stood desolate with a groom that had no idea, no empathy. He really didn't. No fucking idea at all. Even her sister, who had some couth, actually my half-sister, made an announcement that there would be afternoon tea at her home to celebrate with bride and groom. A kindness. It was a kindness on her part. She could see how absolutely shocking it was, how everyone just bailed on us. So back to her new home with her new husband she went. He insisted she get changed out of her bridal gear. That was another atrocity. Wouldn't even let me stand in my bridal clothing and enjoy being a bride for longer than, here is right, a bride for a 20-minute ceremony and a brief kiddush, and already under duress to strip herself of her glory. She was young. She was tired. Yes, I was tired even as a young woman and a child with my trauma issues. Says a lot, doesn't it? I should never have gotten married at all. It's too broken even as a child. That's why I'll never marry again. I've made my mind up. She was in grief for a man who had once quipped that she would marry his son over his dead body. He had not factored in that he would adore her and leave her so unwillingly, my father-in-law, who fought me every inch of the way and then loved me every inch of the way and was truly a good man to me and paid off not one but 2 houses to give me some kind of financial security. That was a gift for me, not for his son. He must have known deep down how fucking useless he would be. The hospice room with a suffering Christ hung above his bed that she had wanted to tear down as he, an old Jew, was left on top of bed sheets, exposed and naked. The staff did not care. So she, his soon-to-be daughter-in-law, had covered his nakedness with a sheet. His own children, too busy arguing about not getting a mink cape in his dying weeks, and his money, and their usual disgusting callow greed. Filthy people, utterly filthy. I'm talking about my brother-in-laws and sister-in-law here. They were really that foul. The rest of the Aaron's family were lovely to me, however, but my own brother-in-laws and sister-in-law, foul, really foul. But she was their sister-in-law, and how they turned like vicious curs upon her. Ah, but life is long and arduous, and karma really is magnificent. Harry and Hilda and me, their blood runs in my daughter's veins, and I am free. Another copy of the photo above, it must have been Hilda's favourite photo of her husband. He does look devilishly handsome, don't you think? I love the mischief in his eyes and the mysterious smile. This was my father-in-law, long before I met him. I met him when he was already an elderly man. But as I said, he was a good man to me, a good father. And good fathers in my youth and adolescence and childhood were rare and precious. In fact, Harry was the only one to exemplify what being a good father is to me as a young girl. But yes, he was beautiful. He was a beautiful man. He really, truly was. My mother-in-law begs to differ, but I had nothing but good to speak of him, unlike his son. And that, my friends, I write, is why I will never marry again. My one and only marriage was an accursed affair. From beginning to end, I had to fight. And for what? For nothing. Isn't that interesting how Spirit, when I woke up this morning, said fight? And then there's all this energy going over the memories of me fighting for my safety, for my husband, for my marriage, for my lifestyle as a young girl at 19 years of age. It's kind of ridiculous when you think about it, but that was the journey the gods put me on. Hilda had begged me, don't fight, they will always win in the end. You will just wear yourself into the ground. Says a lot, doesn't it? Battered wife syndrome. Not that he battered her, but he ground her down in other ways. But as I said, he was a good man to me, ironically. Probably because, well, I was pretty and I was young and I was feisty and powerful and defiant, and it inspired a great love in that man's heart, seeing me fight for my Jewishness and his son and my lifestyle and my culture, my family. Would I do it again? No. But here's the irony. My manifestation I put out for many years was that if I fall in love with a partner, I must be included by his friends and family and our community and our tribe, our business associates, our friends, our family. You know, I must be included and welcomed and indeed loved. And I'm seeing that actually, that I've been loved and included in the Brisbane music scene at long last, after 14 years of participating in it, long struggles. It's a bit astonishing. So it's another sign that my true love is imminent. Don't know who he is. I'm not I'm not putting expectations on anyone, but it's just a sign, because this is what I had to fight through as a young girl, to be accepted and to be loved. It was a long, hard battle, and at the end the war was won, but the battle was lost, babies. Precipitated long years of very, very major depression and kind of a long seeping grief in me too. As a young woman, I was robbed. I was robbed of joy and success and peace and safety. I was robbed. I came to stay with her, my mother-in-law Hilda, whose original name was Hinda. I came to stay with her after he died, our Harry. She had a light in her eyes of freedom, of triumph, of joy. I was shocked. I myself was very ill with a bad chest infection. She made me hot milk with butter and honey and insisted I drink it hot. It was weirdly soothing. She tucked me into bed like a small child. I was 19, thinking I was oh so grown up at 19. Oh, by the gods, what I didn't know is astonishing, people of earth. She fussed over me in the style of another of my mothers, June Robertson. I felt strange, uncomfortable. I was supposed to be looking after her, but she was delighted to coddle me. She told me how she was so happy to be free at last, after a 46-year-old marriage, mind you. I did not quite comprehend the enormity of it, of love being a slavish curse, of being a dried, dead husk that once laid upon youth's dreams and a young girl's passion, nor what we had to kill inside our souls to survive it. But then at 28, I knew. I, the warrior of life and love and spirit, got my freedom, paid the price of it over and over again, even now. No getting out of life alive card, no getting away from your tormentors without repercussions that last decades. For the sake of the children, how they lied and manipulated to keep me close by, to see the children, to control and lie to and mentally abuse me and my children. Collateral damage. Now even my children are gone from me. I fought to keep us together, to keep us safe. Another ignominious, wasted effort. Now my children are my memories, my dreams, my animals, my garden. Wishing, hoping, yearning for the true love that has until now eluded me. Hope springs eternal, infernally false, but so pretty. Hold it in my hand, clutch it to my breast, kiss it, then let it fly away. Ha ha ha. Funny old world. Funny life of the Tanya. My father loved to sing to me The First Time Ever I Saw Your Face by Roberta Flack, or sung by Roberta Flack. There is a line, I saw the sun rise in your eyes. My eyes are open. They burn with decades of grief and shame and violation, but they have seen the glory of love's promise, love's desire. Psychedelic dreams swirling into oblivion, but so majestic, so poignantly beautiful. Here's a photo of someone else who was poignantly beautiful in his strange little doggy ways. Nineteenth of September 2015, 6 a.m. I stayed up all night sorting beads, lots more to sort, lots more to throw out. Time to sleep. Karen and I are going out tonight. It will be good to dance. 6 p.m. Just woke up. Another day without sunlight, but much needed rest. Harvey had a brief sojourn in the garden at 10 a.m, barking at people, so I had to bring him inside. He didn't mind. We went straight back to bed. Stayed here all day. Time to rise and shine. Bear in mind I was still in recovery from the suicide attempt a month previously, so there was lots of sleeping and just, sliding through the days without any real participation on my part. 19th of September 2014. Today has been a beautiful day so far. I got up at midday. I had 2 lovely long chats with my closest friends. Lynn told me that I had given some very sage advice to a mutual friend who had taken it on board and had made significant changes to her lifestyle. I won't take too much credit, as I was probably being an asshole and speaking my own truth, but hey, if the right words made a difference, then I'm happy with that and feel validated. I'm taking things easy today as I still feel a bit unwell and weak. I might go out later, see how I feel. I want to run wild, but it won't hurt to stay home and rest up. Karen and I have plans to meet up tomorrow night and go out, so that should be fun. I spent the evening raking dead leaves and burning them in my brazier. I got covered from snout to tootsies and sootsies, whoopsies. So I took a long shower and decided to go out even though my neck is a bit stiff. Well, we are a stiff-necked people, aren't we? I have rose thorn splinters in my thumb and still smell vaguely of smoke even though I had a good scrub. I'm looking forward to a great night out, and a nice cold Jack Daniels has my name on it. I also spent the late arvo cleaning the back fish pond out. It was rather green and sludgy. When I have spare cash, I will have to buy a solar pond pump and filter for it. I counted 10 goldfish. Some are still uncoloured freaks of nature, but I love them anyway. I am surprised how big they are growing. They are almost 1 year old. I potted some of the water poppy. I also refreshed the barley straw. While I was busy doing all that, I had the hose on the back garden as it is so damn dry. I need to buy mulch one fine day. I felt dreadfully exhausted at 5 p.m, so I'm glad my energy levels had a bit of a boost and I enjoyed pottering in the garden. Top of my suitcase. This was a piece of art that got ruined because the resin went tacky and sticky and didn't set. But I took a photo of it because I was so proud of it anyway, and all we have left of it is the photo because I threw it out. Yeah, I was quite proud of that actually. And disappointed that it didn't work out. Very disappointed. One of my failures that I still kind of grieve over a bit. 19th of September 2013. I didn't go to sleep last night. Worked all day, marinating chicken wings, baking banana bread. Who am I and what did they do with the real Tanya? Washing, putting things away, and at dawn, a rare vision of loveliness since I live like a vampire, I went outside, potted with my fish ponds and raked leaves and collected them and put them in my compost bin. I was busy, 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 like a woman possessed, wolf woman with the impending full moon, all energized and euphoric and kind of driven. No sexual partner, so I put myself to work, lol. By 1 p.m. I was exhausted, went to rest but couldn't sleep, and by 2 p.m. I was finally sleeping only to be woken several times by Crystal, who had lost her mobile phone. Grr. So around 6ish, I got up again and kept working. Baked some more banana bread as I'm using up all the overripe bananas from my trees, and the bread machine is marvellous. Then I heated up the berry pie I made 2 days ago in the oven. Ate that. Lol. That means I ate the entire pie. I know. Then I grilled the chicken wings. Ate those. Now a very full tummy and still exhausted. Dishes mostly done. Just got the grill to do. Tomorrow I get the car serviced, which is awesome, as I have been very worried about not servicing it. But a very dear friend lent me the money so I can keep the service appointment and feel safer on the road. So I really feel like I'm getting on top of things that had been stressing me for several months. A real sense of achievement, chipping away at one problem after another, and very grateful for the financial support, loans from my gorgeous friends, which help keep my head above the tide line. To you, my darlings. 19th of September 2012. In a lot of pain but will look great when the area heals up. The temporary tooth looks so good, unlike the crap ones the public dental hospital used to give me, which made me look like Bugs Bunny. I'm lucky to have this dental implant. When it's finished, I'll be able to smile without feeling and looking like a freak. Awesome. They're kind of out of alignment now, but anyway, it is what it is. I still look better than I used to look with the dental hospital ones. Completely mismatched in one giant tooth. Oh, I looked hideous. It was evil what they did to me. They would have known that they were making me look hideous, by the way. But anyway, $10,000 these cost, these teeth. And I dread what will happen if they break or smash or fail because I don't have money to replace them. Be Me wrote, "Pictures," and I replied, "Not yet, not pretty yet, lol, still swollen. Get the stitches out next Tuesday," and had a massive cold sore on my top lip as well, so not photogenic yet, as if I ever were, lol. I saw the x-ray though. The implant goes all the way up to under my schnoz, which is very astonishing. Which is why my nose is swollen and tender too. Be Me wrote back, "Yowee, I hate dentists with a passion. Heebie-jeebies, big time." I hear you, sister. 19th of September 2011. I had a lovely day with Gail and Talia at the Ipswich Art Gallery children's section, viewing the most amazing collages made by Jeannie Baker for her book Mirror, about an Australian family and on the other side of the world, a Moroccan family. The paper towel type collages were so intricately detailed and amazing. I thoroughly enjoyed it. Gail and I both wish we had enough money to buy the book. And thus concludes today's readings of Even Date. It's been a bit of an emotional roller coaster ride for me, kind of ripping off a band-aid. But anyway, as I said, these videos end on the 4th of October, and I'll be making beautiful memories and beautiful stories to present to you. Well, that's my hope and my aspiration and my dreaming, my psychedelic dreaming, and my delight and my plan for my future babies. So together let us manifest better memories and happier memories and better times. Gods and Goddess bless us all, always and forever. L'dor v'dor, which is Hebrew for from generation to generation. May we merit together as a collective only happy and most blessed and beautiful memories. Vitania, Mama T, Miss 5, the psychedelic dreamer, Dulcie loves you all, and be at peace. There was nothing else I could have done with the choices I made in those moments in time, with pure intentions and great love and hope for my future, even back then as a young bride. So it is what it is. Life goes on, and all those events and experiences and fucking toxic shock syndrome with former family members have made me who I am today. So I guess I can be grateful for that, because it's part of who I am now. Powerful, still extremely loving, sometimes even forgiving, and wild and free and joyous and wise. Bye for now. Have a beautiful day wherever you are in the space-time continuum, and let love be the law, love under will. Amen v'salah.